Oh, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Link to the Past Randomizer daily race here on Speed Gaming 3. This is our open weekly. We have Sickdums, Josh Bittner, Sorcerer Finch, and Extra Gamer 1989. I'm Professor Render, and joining me is Lana Bean. How are you doing?
Hey, thanks. How are you today?
Doing really, really nice. It was about 3 hours ago, or about 5 hours ago, since I was doing a ladder. So and we were just talking in my chat about, hey, we should all commentate together, and that's what we did.
Heck yeah. Love it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's our open 7-7 weekly race every Sunday at 5:30. So it's just your typical 7-7 defeat Ganon open mode. Don't need to go through the front of escape as a requirement.
Pretty basic, but after all these qualifiers being that mode, everyone's gonna love the little break here with a standard 7-7, I think.
And we are underway. We have ourselves a cape to start it off in Link's house. Extra Gamer is going to go ahead and take a different route and just find 50 rupees at Sank. We do get our map check. It's a little pixely on my end, so I couldn't decipher what it was.
Could not make it out myself. We have a red crystal eastern. We have a pendant here. I did not catch desert.
It looked like it may have been a green pendant according to one of our trackers.
Okay, 2 pendants in the light world. Oh, good tree pole, 80 rupees. That's a good one. And it looks like Extra Gamer's going for the early Houlihan for some money. Not a bad play.
Yeah, this won't be too bad. The whole hand is a good trick to have just in case you need rupees. It only works by the fact that doing certain specific things to cause an error in Link's Y coordinate. It really depends on what the options are, or what depends on what you do. You'll be able to gain 225 rupees from it.
Basically, it confuses the game to the point where it does not know where to put you, so it puts you in Houlihan.
And the exit point is outside Link's house to be able to get back into position.
Alright, so we have Sorcerer Finch and Signums heading west, and pretty much on the same route, looks like. And Signum's finding out that good tree pole. Oh, just 5 arrows from the crabs. Not much going on there.
So yeah, not a whole lot to really say here. Just this is a typical start. I will comment on some of the sprite options that we have. From the looks of things, Extra Gamer is playing as Boko the Chocobo from Final Fantasy V. Sorcerer Finch is playing as a Slowpoke, and Sickdums is running the typical Pac-Man Ghost sprite.
And of note, we did see 10 arrows on Lumberjack, so not going to be doing Aga for that specifically.
And it looks like one of the sprites for it may be one of the various Link sprites. I don't know if this is just a regular Link sprite or it's one of the different tunic color or hat color Links. It might be the original, though. I don't know.
Point of view, it looks like the Link redrawn sprite, I want to say, from the selection. I could be wrong, though. It does look slightly different than vanilla, but it could be.
Okay, it looks like we got things fixed up on over on SGs3. We were still hosting the SMC3 weekly. But hello everyone. I'm Professor Render. I'm joined with Lana Bead. This is our open weekly race. Now catching back up. We did find a cape in Link's house, and there was only 50 rupees in the sink. We did find a glove though, and that was it looks like it was from Blindside.
I believe so, yeah. And as a big thank you, we have 5D100 and ProPiece handling the tracking today. Thank you both so much.
And we also have Pro Piece handling the restream. This or handling the restream and just trying to get everything else synced up here. We should be getting some syncs pretty soon, hopefully. Yeah, we did find a sword from the well behind the bomb wall.
Always good to find an early sword. It makes routing south with Mini Moldrum Cave a lot safer. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure we've seen just about all of Kakariko. Between the four runners, I don't know if we've seen Racing Game or Library yet.
This is so early on, so and everyone else went through the top, going to the bottom. So at the moment, we have not seen the race game or the library.
So Cape is interesting. We have a sword now, so basically, Aga could be a thing, but still need a lamp. But that would put Aga in logic.
Yeah, you would need the, as you mentioned, the lamp is necessary for that for the Cape sword Dark World or Aga climb, which in and of itself is kind of rough, but if you have equipment to offset that, then it may not be as hard as it normally is. And we do see Josh Bittner taking a peek at the race game. It's just bombs, and after checking out the library, which looked like it didn't have anything of note.
Yeah, Sorcerer Finch taking another look for us too, just $20. And we have 4 runners here out of a pool of 18 runners, so thank you all for volunteering to let us watch you while you race.
Yeah, this is a pretty nice pool here. This was of course after the big qualifier that we had earlier.
Okay, we have Signums checking out the back of Escape, looks like. Sorcerer Finch heading south towards the dam. Josh Bittner just checked the back of Escape there too. And Josh Bittner electing to navigate some dark rooms to maybe get to Dark Cross.
Yeah, it's an interesting move. When you have a sword in the hand, so it's not that hard to deal with here. So the one tricky thing about doing the Dark Cross without a lamp is just fighting the chest itself. You could feel out the chest if you kind of just position yourself, but it's a matter of opening the chest. That's a different story.
Looks like Sorcerer Finch getting a big full heart piece from the drain dam.
So as we're gonna go ahead and see the Mini Moldrum Cave.
Josh Bittner trying to get that darn chest, but oh, the ropes stop him in his tracks. We'll see if maybe Signums can find it.
Yeah, with 3 hearts, and the fact that the ropes could still be a bit of a nuisance with it being half a heart, taking half a heart damage, full stop, it becomes an issue. We only get a heart container out of it, so that's depending on if Josh Bader will want to go back to that. That's 1 heart piece or 1 heart container you might be missing out.
Well, I imagine they may end up checking it. I mean, 2 things will pull him back. The front of Escape has not been checked, and also, if this does end up being an Agassi, that would likely be checked before going. But that's about it.
So the sprite that so the enter request in the chat, we have a Pac-Man Ghost, the default Link, Slowpoke, and Boko the Chocobo from Final Fantasy V. They're actually, I think that I think that's what the sprite's actually called, I believe, or it's just called a Chocobo. Let me check.
It looks like Boko the. Oh, we found a hammer in Ice Rod Cave. With that Moon Pearl, hammer, and glove, we now have Dark World access.
Yep, that is called. That is the sprite's name, Boko the Chocobo.
So it looks like Sorcerer Finch electing to start at the Sanctuary, head west, probably going to the Village of Outcasts. Maybe even give us a Dark World map check.
Yeah, that's a free Dark World access. That really isn't so much of an issue.
And they also did find an early Ice Rod as well. So if Turtle Rock is a crystal, then this will not be an Ice Rod hunt. That's good for them.
Yeah, it's an early Ice Rod hunt, and it really, and depending on what we see, it might very much well be a it could be just like we could just see the whole joke about, hey, we have a Ice Rod Turtle Rock style a pendant for some reason.
Sorcerer Finch forgetting that it's a tree bonk for the magic. Can't pull it, unfortunately.
Yep, but it is Pendant Pod and a 5/6 crystal for Meyer.
Okay.
So that Ice Rod is required, and it's a nice one too. It's an early Ice Rod hunt out of the way.
Yeah, and we're going to need plenty of items yet for Go Mode.
And I regret to inform you, Goran, who's answered the chat, there is no Pac-Man sprite. So I wish there was. It would have been cute to have a bit of a joke attached to it. Josh Bittner will get the hammer from Ice Rod Cave along with Signums.
So Extra Gamer choosing to go ahead and fake Flipper before going to Dark World. Not a bad choice.
Got a little nervous there because if that arrow guard gets an early aggro, you have to dodge out of the way. You get a bow from the hobo.
Wow, okay, that's a good find. That is Eastern, that is Pod.
Yeah, and that is of course flipper locked. So, but it's not really as big of a flipper lock, considering the fact that it is just along the flipper route, like the fake flipper route. So.
Okay, Signum's given us a Hype Cave check so far. It's a heart piece on the first check. 10 bombs. Heart piece. $5. And a lamp. Alright, well, could be worse.
Could be worse, yeah. Well, the hammer is nice enough as it is, so we should be okay. Like that, it does help. It'll help Josh Bittner if he chooses to go back to the front of Escape. Yeah, so that would be nice.
Okay, so we have Sorcerer Finch taking care of Thieves' Town. Extra Gamer is doing the waterfall check. Not quite in logic without the flippers, but yeah, who cares about logic?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know if Extra Gamer was keeping track of the heart pieces, but if a heart piece were to be picked up while in a water walk state, you will, and it was enough to to give you a heart piece or a full heart. You will be knocked back into a fake flipper state, so you have to go back through. Speaking of the flippers, it looks like Sorcerer Finch did find the flippers.
Okay, well, that just means that the bow is not far in logic, so that's good.
Yeah, and our tracker Page pointed out that it was from the chess game, so a very nice early flippers for the bow. And we did 2 digs for 10 arrows. Now you love to see how quick it is. You love to see a really quick dig game. And Extra Game only gained 20 rupees off of the Zora, so whatever.
125th return. Zora wins today.
As it should. That's how this world works, apparently.
But they got their bow out of all those checks, so they know that flippers have to be not too far behind. And it looks like they're taking that bow and going right over to Saha Eastern. And looks like Josh Bittner is getting $100 for that good bee. And Signum's turning in that bottle for Bombos. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is an interesting find for our runners for Signums, because that does give us one of the medallions, and Extra Gamer got the other another medallion that is Quake, and the powder alongside it with the check for Sahasrah Lahats.
And to answer a question in chat, I think vanilla flippers are only worth it if Swamp Palace is a crystal. Otherwise, eh.
Yeah, although it's not a seed where flippers are more of a technicality rather than being a necessity. Because there are situations where if Swamp's a pendant and Ice is a crystal, depending on what you have, you might not be worried about the flippers for go mode. Like might not be worried about the flippers because you could just fake flipper to Ice Palace, and then you don't have to worry about the flippers at all. It's more of a technicality that by go mode, according to the game, go mode is your flippers. But you could just say, "Oh, I don't need the flippers. My go mode is X or Y."
Exactly, and the only exception to that is if the game is extra evil and actually puts something that's required in Pendant Swamp, which is not super common, but still happens.
Yeah, and that's just one of the times that could be the case.
And of note, Sorcerer Finch has gotten a sword out of Thieves Town, but otherwise, not much going on. Blue mail, I think, but with this tournament, they're probably all used to not having blue mail by now.
Yeah, it's a low percent fight, but with only 5 hearts and blue mail, with the fact that we're not in the hard mode that is set up for the qualifiers and the main tournament, might be a little bit of trouble here. Ew, yeah.
Oh no, takes a death at blind.
Yeah, the trouble is that Sorcerer Finch had very little magic going into with the cape, so he only used had a handful of magic to get one hit in, but wasn't enough to finish off the job. So Sorcerer Finch is opting to bail out for the time being.
That's true, and that's one of the hard parts. Oh, and Josh Bittner takes a death as well, unless that was a death warp. I did not catch that. But one of the issues with blind is that no matter how powerful you are, regardless, it'll take 9 hits to take blind out, even if you have a butter sword. So it could be hard.
Yeah, looking on the back end, it looked like that wasn't an intentional death. It just looks like Josh Bittner ran into the Gibdo there. So yeah, and on green mail it takes 2 hearts of damage, which is something that these runners would know from the qualifiers that they had participated in. With green mail, it's pretty. You'll know a lot about what damage you can take with what damage you'll have to take when you're on green mail.
Thankfully, I have a lot of places that you can accidentally die at least they pretty much respawn in the same room that they died at, so it didn't cost them too much time.
Yeah, and Josh Binder opting to actually take advantage of that fact by doing now an intentional death in the just onto that Gibdo. Though I would say the fastest, a much more faster way was depending on the timer of the, depending on how long it's been since a Wallmaster has dropped, you would probably wait out the Wallmaster instead rather than just take a death there. It looked like Extra Gamer was also opting to do the back of Eastern without the lamp, so but wasn't able to get it done though.
Yeah, they managed to take out the Igor, get the key quickly, but the other Igor wanted a few hugs. So unfortunately, that's a full heart of damage every single hit. So unfortunately, that happens.
Yeah, that is an issue that could be a problem, especially with the amount of hearts that Extra Gamer has. Along with to an extent Sorcerer Finch and Josh Bittner. Right now they're sitting at 6 hearts while Extra Gamer is at 5. However, Sitgums is a bit more healthier at 7. With Blue Mail too. So for this fight in particular, this should not be a problem for Sorcerer Sitgums. With that 7 hearts, and also is going in with a full heart pool, full row of hearts, which means Sword Beans is also a move that you can do with blind.
Very true. Red cane, very useful. Blue cane, very useful. Cape, very useful. There's quite a few things you can use to damage blind. Red cape, of course, you can't, but if you have a sword, it'll at least help you stay invisible.
Yeah, it looked like, and I was mentioning before too. I saw the intention that Sorcerer Finch was trying to do, and that was to cheese out the rest of the fight by using the cape, considering the situation that Sorcerer Finch was in, but ran out of magic, obviously, as we know, so that didn't work out. But Sitgums will be the first one to clear a crystal here at around 21 minutes and some change.
And Extra Gamer not too far behind, picking up their first crystal at 21:30.
We get the book from the catfish, which is an interesting thing to find. At the moment, we don't have a way to check the tablets. But the closest thing that we could, the closest tablet that we could check once we have it is either using the hookshot or mirror, the ether tablet.
That also does give us a few checks into Desert as well. Desert being a green pendant, really don't want to do that, but it could very well have items just as well as anywhere else. So Desert is now an option with that book. Hard to say if you'll be able to beat it though without boots.
Yeah, and as Ben Crane was also pointing out too with the back of Eastern, it is a rough room to deal with. It's more of because of the fact that you're getting pretty close to another Igor in the same area. It's kind of tricky to deal with that when you don't know where you're going in that room. So Extra Gamer will get the lamp here. Might be a little it might feel a little bad for not being able to get to that lamp as earlier on. But it's still a crystal either way, so at least that's still it's a crystal that Extra Gamer picked up.
It is. Oh, okay. Signum's got picked up intentionally there. Okay.
Yeah. The fact that it looked like from looking at the Twitch Twitch feed, Signums was standing by the pinball room chest. So the intention was for him to get picked up, which makes sense because that is one of the more faster ways back to the front of a dungeon, because the way it kind of works is that if you get picked up by a wall master, you get placed on the last entrance you were at. So you went to similar in vein to what happens if you took a death or something.
So of note, did Sorcerer Finch pick up that bow? I think they did.
They were in the area. Sorcerer Finch was in the area. So after dying to Thieves Town, the blind. So yeah, and the bow was recently swapped over from the quick swap. So yeah, that's the bow that does have.
Good. I know sometimes if you're routing to the south, you're thinking, well, do I check oboe now or later? And I'm glad they did. Having that bow right now does unlock Eastern and Pendant Pod, as we said before. So yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, so here's something that Extra Gamer is doing that's not common with open, but more common with inverted. He's doing the arrow game.
Little did they know there is, I believe, $600 readily available in Thieves Town.
Yeah, it's interesting because typically what happens is that in inverted, as long as you have 20 rupees, if you have 20 rupees, which is necessary for the game to get access to the game, to the arrow game, a lot of inverted players will choose to farm up money at the arrow game because that is the best way to get rupees early on.
And it does not take much time. That is true. If you have $30, why not shoot some arrows?
Yeah, it's basically at the cost of a red rupee at that point. It is the cost of the red rupee, so it doesn't hurt to do it. Josh Binder will knock down blind here. Also, another thing too is that there's a couple ways to get about it. There's our silver bow,
silvers.
Just chilling there inside of Spec Rock Cave. But there's two ways you can get rupees. There's two strategies for the arrow game. Either you can be up against the NPC and just there's a specific visual cue for when you line them up, or what you could do is go for the 99 rupee strat, where you shoot all of your arrows into one target, and if you get all them on one target, then you'll get 99 rupees from it.
The X99 dream.
Something I've yet to learn.
So of note here, it looks like progression has to be either in Pod, in Desert, or right here where Extra Gamer is in the back of Escape. Or basement of Escape, really.
The front of Escape. Yeah, this is interesting because right now they can access Pod, but the more important, what Sorcerer Finch and what Secdebs are going to do first is to take out their ammo stats, get that crystal off of Easter. I know.
Yeah, where do they go after that? Let's see. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. I know Sicknums did also clear. It was, I think, Sicknums and Josh Bittner who also had cleared out. Who had cleared out Thieves Town, so that one's that should hopefully get marked out on the tracker as well. But we did find Master Sword inside Zelda Cell.
Okay, so they're going to get tempered out of Thieves Town when they go there. Good thing for everybody if they go to that basement. Got to get that sword if they want it, but not required by any means. But nobody's going to turn it down.
Yeah, Josh Spittner will have the regular bow, from off of Hobo.
Sorcerer Finch is going to go in there with silvers and knock out those Armos Knights with ease. And they've got the lamp, so it's going to be a little bit easier of a time than Extra Gamer had.
One thing to point out too from our tracker, Akuhesh, mentioning in the chat that Spike Cave also exists.
That's true. I didn't think about that check. They don't have many hearts, but they do have the the blue cane and the cape, so that is an option.
Yeah, you would be better off if you first went ahead and would go out to do just get a potion first, the blue potion, before you start doing anything with it, or a red potion, whichever works.
Well, they've got the money for it. No real convenient way to get to the potion shop, unfortunately. No flute.
Yeah, you'd have to walk to it, which is slow. Or since the runners have flippers, they could also take the whirlpool to the potion shop and cut down some of the time. But it is also it is slower than a flute.
But a good option, no less.
It looked like Extra Gamer had found out about oh yeah. So Extra Gamer was attempting to pick up to get 100 rupees from the bottle vendor. However, the bee targeted the wind vein instead of the potion guy, the bottle vendor. Yeah, I don't know why I'm blanking on that name. Because for whatever reason, the wind veil is technically an NPC by the bee's logic, and that NPC is also is considered for some reason an enemy by the game. So it targets the wind vein instead of the bottle vendor.
That can happen sometimes. The safest thing you can do is just go to the left of the bottle vendor, get the wind vein out of your camera, and then go ahead and release the bee. Then the bee automatically goes for the vendor, but sometimes that bee just has a mind of its own and it prefers the wind vein over the bottle vendor, like you said.
Yeah, it really is. That's why you mentioned that is the safest bet. You'd have to be where Extra Gamer is at to use that. To use to use it, because it won't target the it's not going to target the snitch lady instead of because it's not really considered an enemy by the game, but by the bee's logic, but the bee does consider the bottle vendor a target.
And Sorcerer Finch does pick up the Eastern Crystal at around 31.55. And Signum showing us the regular bow strats here. Well done. Quick kill on Armos Knights.
Yeah, the quick kill is something that is a pretty integral part of the early game for the NMG speedrun. So it is highly advised that that if people want to learn the NMG speedrun, they would learn that as well, since it's the first actual boss that they deal with, and it's not a hard setup to perform though.
Now, it looks like Signum is heading south from Eastern, so their next play could very well either be Pod, or they may head west over to Pyramid and north to Catfish if they haven't done that yet.
Signums is opting to go into Pod, Pendant Pod. That is what looks like the general direction of Pendant Pod. So this is a move that I get. Pendant Pod is you're in the area, and Pendant Pod is perhaps is more likely than not your own. Well, it is your only thing you can do that's in the area after some clears that you some crystal dungeons that you can clear already, and you have no other crystals that you can clear at this point. So Pendant Pod being what it is your next best move of 5 items.
Very true, and that's fully clearable. And their only other dungeon option right now is Desert Green Pendant, and it's not even guaranteed beatable without the boots. So Pod is definitely more of a tempting choice for sure.
Yeah, and it also too is because of the fact that it's also Green Pendant Desert. It's by proxy, it's 2 items. It's 2 items short. A 2 items difference between it and Pod, if you count the Slash Roll turn.
Yeah, they haven't checked Agena either, so I'm pretty sure it would be Agena, maybe 0 to 2 items in Desert Ledge. So there's definitely Pod is the safer bet right now, but it might or might not be the play. We'll see.
Right. Josh Bitter will take out the Armbost Knights as well. That will be his second crystal.
Okay, we'll see if Josh Bittner joins Signums in Pod or not. Meanwhile, Sorcerer Finch going to the back of Escape, and Extra Gamer making their way through Moneyfield and Sword Pods, or Sword Thieves Town. Sword-filled Thieves Towns. They've got their Tempered, and Crystal Thieves will soon be cleared too.
Yeah, this is really nice for Extra Gamer with Tempered in the hands. This shouldn't be too much of an issue. You can take out quite a number of enemies this way. Although Extra Gamer maybe want to be a little bit cautious, but does opt to grab the anti-fairy with a powder, so it becomes an actual fairy, and that will at least keep him alive for now.
And to answer a question in chat, I believe book was at Catfish, so it's a very soggy book, but it does give them desert access.
Yeah, it's out of the. It is out of the way. It's the more nicer thing the runners would want to see that would be Signums, Josh, and Extra Gamer would be Myths and Flute.
That's another thing to think of, though. I forgot that Sorcerer Finch is the only one to pay a visit to Catfish so far, so they're the only ones with the option to actually do desert. So Extra Gamer going into the only dungeon they currently know they can go into.
Correct. Signums, I don't know how he feels about Catfish. It's a move that really depends on the person. But yeah. So if Signums chooses to go up to Catfish, that will lead him to the book.
Josh Bittner getting the news about Silvers. And the bat just giving 3 bombs.
We did find a shovel. It looked like from it looked like it was from Signum's side. I don't know. I think it according to one of the chat members said there was a shovel.
To be determined. Shovel is an extra check, easy to check as well. Save and quit right to Link's house, walk more like 15 seconds to the left, you'll be there.
Oh, okay, so it was a shovel and a hook shot from Signum's Impending Pod.
Oh,
so
East Death Mountain.
Yeah, and not only that, once we get Mirror, that's swamp access.
Not only that, actually, that does potentially give us Pedestal at this point.
Correct. Yeah, Pedestal is wide open. And yes, Signums does have gloves. It's not on the tracker yet, but it will be on soon.
If Desert is beatable, then yeah, they got the book to read the tablet though, or the Pedestal if they really want to find out. But at this point, I think you gotta just go up Death Mountain, see if something's up there.
Also, welcome on in the Raiders from Speed Gaming 5. all 186 of you. This is our Link to the Past Randomizer daily race. This is our open weekly that happens every Sunday at 5:30 Eastern. Tonight we have Signums, Josh Bittner, Sorcerer Finch, and Extra Gamer 1989 on the restream out of a pool of 18 other runners, 18 runners. And our crew for the night is 5D100 and Akuhesh on the tracking side. We also had Pro Piece handling the setup for today, and I'm Professor Redder, and I'm joined with Lanabean.
Hello, everybody. Welcome, Raiders.
So we just got information that Hookshot and Shovel were in Pendant Pod, and that isn't a very interesting proposition. Is like because Pendant Pod, it depending on how you feel about it, you either don't want something to be in Pendant Pod or you want something to be in Pendant Pod. I'm started to be a bit more favored to Pendant Pod as of late, so finding something in Pendant Pod would be great. But in this case, I would be gratefully rewarded.
Well, and without that book, they did not really have a choice to go to desert, and with those finds, they elected to go ahead and save and quit out of pod and start doing those hook shot checks. So we'll see what comes of East Death Mountain, but otherwise, we just discovered, just as you were coming in, that Pedestal could very well be a thing right now. If desert's beatable without boots.
Correct. It is Schrodinger. It's basically Schrodinger's ped. Why it's wide open, but it would need. But the boots would be if there's a boots lock, then we can access it.
And the only person to go to Catfish so far is Sorcerer Finch. Josh Bittner is about to go to Pod, get rewarded with those 2 items. Extra Gamer is checking out Skullwoods.
Yeah. There really isn't. As we saw, there won't be anything here. And we don't have a fire rod, so Extra Gamer will have to bail out after this is done. We are skiing a Paradox Cave check. Also, we have welcoming in Nobly with his party of 2. I hope you had a good stream. We have our Link to the Past Randomizer daily race. Sick Dubs, Josh Bittner, Sorcerer Finch, Extra Gamers on restream out of a pool of 18 runners. 5D 100 and Akuhesh on the tracking side. I'm Professor Redder, and I'm joined with Lanabean. So, hello.
Hello, everybody. Oh, Boots. Hello, Boots.
Okay, Pedestal is now wide open.
Yes, that is officially a Pedestal open seed, but 3 of our 4 runners are currently missing that book, so they don't know it.
Yeah, amongst our 4 runners, we know that Pedestal is wide open.
All right, we'll see if they elect to go into Hira and possibly beat it.
Yeah, the Tower of Hera is something that it's along the route. You might as well just hop into there, just see what you can find. If you and also we have the materials for Philly pots. So that'll be nice. We'll go ahead and we'll do a Spiral Cave check here. The boots were in Paradox Cave, the top 5.
So at this point, we are 4 items from Go Mode, 5 possibly. We need Glove, we need Fire Rod, we need a Samaria, and Flute, possibly Ether. Oh,
Speaking of Samaria.
Okay, minus Samaria, we found that. Thankfully, you find boots up in Paradox, so it makes Spiral Cave a lot more comfortable to go ahead and just run through. Boots were in Paradox.
Yes. That was I did mention that as well. So yeah, it's just go -3 or 4. So now Sickdums is gonna make the play over dependent Hera. Again, it's a move. It's a move. With amongst the runners as well, we will. We do know that. We do know that. Um, the Ether Town was in play, but Sanctum does not have the book from Catfish. Extra Gamer will get it though, and Josh Bitter did take a additional death to the spikes.
Still need a mirror too. I forgot about that. Oh man, okay, there's lots of items that could be on Pedestal, but it looks like Sorcerer Finch is heading towards Desert, so maybe something will be over here too.
So Sanctum's actually opting to not do affiliate pods. Might be considering just full clearing it out instead of just taking a gamble by leaving out one item. So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's fine. It's a move that exists, and we also did find 3 bombs from Aena's cave. But Sorcerer Finch will be the first one into Desert. Extra Gamer is actually right on his tails. Yeah, it's right on his tail. But Extra Gamer will be the one entering it first. While Sorcerer Finch will be joining him in just a second. Extra Gamer is not checking out Gina. Will be without those 3 bombs. But we will get information to the runners that don't have the boots, whether or not they can clear it without the boots.
So one of the unfortunate things 3 of the runners are doing is they're going into pod, finding that hookshot and shovel, and that gives them less incentive to check out Catfish. So unless they run in Catfish, that could very well be a last location check.
And that map does verify that we need the boots for that we do need the boots for Desert Palace. Yeah, if I would if I was playing the seed and I saw the map, I would immediately save coin out if I didn't have boots, just because I would know that's the big key or small key is on that torch. I wouldn't need to know. I wouldn't need to go over to the right side and do it. Although it looks like Extra Gamer is actually opting to steal the key from the back. This is out of logic, and it only would work if There's a couple of reasons you can do it. You would either do it if you were wanting to get the items out from the left side, or if you want to get the big key from the left side.
An interesting play. You oftentimes see it in different modes like key sanity, cross keys, things like that. Not a common thing you're going to see in a standard 7/7 open. It'll be interesting to see what they find.
Yeah, and it is considered out of logic by doing this. But it is a move. It does exist. And I actually quite like it.
It's not a bad move for sure. Oh, Signums does get their pendant off of Hera. Did pull 10 arrows off of Troll Dorm, so not much going on there.
Yeah, and it looked like too that since Moldorm dropped an item, I don't know if the big chest had an item as well, but if it did, then there was no way you would be considering the you would consider. Okay, yeah, and actually one of our chat managers pointed out too that the first chest had the blue rupees, so you could, if you wanted to, skip out of the just do a Philly pod. You'd skip the big chests by extension. There's only just a lonely piece of hearts. That's what it was from the Spike Cave.
And Josh Bittner, the second runner to get those boots. So we'll see if they elect to clear out Hera as well. They have less incentive though without the book. Simply because the book they may know would unlock Pedestal, giving them some incentive, but right now they may just go in, pull the item out, and leave. We'll see.
Signums finds a shield from the bonk rocks. Not really too useful, but it does at least block fireballs now.
Okay, Extra Gamer going up Death Mountain, going to get rewarded with their boots and silver arrows. Signum's going to get those blueberries off Magic Bat. And Sorcerer Finch in Pod going to get rewarded with their shovel and hookshot. I do not... Have we seen the shovel check yet?
We have not.
So that is something to keep in the back of our minds right now. Along with the ever-loved Pedestal.
Actually, one thing too I should mention is Extra Gamer does not have the hookshot. Has not one independent pod, so the boots will not be available to him until he gets to Pendant Pod.
Oh, I thought they just left that. I could be wrong.
If they now, I don't know if it's actually marked on the tracker. I'd have to look at the quick swaps to see if the hookshot is in the hands. But if it isn't, then we would know that that the silvers are the only thing that Extra Gamer would get is the silvers, not the boots. And I'd look off to the Twitch feed to see what it's like that was picked out from the shovel. It's just a heart container.
We're getting closer and closer to that Pedestal play right now.
Yeah, and this is midway through the seed too. About midway through the seed to late game. And the things that could show up on this pedestal is either the fire rod or the flute.
I think mitts can be off there too.
Mitts is also a possibility as well.
I think statistically mitts are probably it. I don't think flippers would do anything directly. I don't think the flute would do anything directly. Fire rod would get him the back of skull. I don't know if both items were pulled out of skull or not.
I don't believe I don't believe we saw every item. I could be wrong. I actually took note of Extra Gamer's menu. There is no hookshot, so Pendant Pod will have to be up next for Extra Gamer.
All right, I thought they just come out there, but everybody was nearing Pod at the same time. I thought my brain was saying they went there, but they'll probably be going there pretty quick, I imagine.
And Akuhesh points out that there's only one, as far as Akuhesh has seen, there's only one item in Skull Woods.
So it could be a fire rod.
I believe this is the locked behind the fire rod lock, so it wouldn't be the fire rod.
Now both Signums and Josh Baitner are going to get rewarded with their carrot sword.
That's a new name for it. I mean, typically you would hear stuff like the bacon sword or tempered, as I pretend to do it for the sake of consistency. But I didn't think of the word of carrot. I mean, it does look like a carrot.
I just refer to things and do things opposite of what everybody else does.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong in saying you're not wrong in saying it looks like a carrot.
Let's see. All right, so Signum's heading towards Desert, but does not have that book. They will just be able to check what's on that ledge. It'll be $20 checking Agina, but no book. It does look like Sorcerer Finch is electing to go ahead and clear out the rest of Palace of Darkness. So if this is a ped seed, they've got the ability to both check it and it'll give them a bit of a head start.
Yeah. One thing to know as well, that Signums opted to leave Pod. But if that's the case, Signums on the same quit, so that's it. it's interesting just to point out. Might be considering going to Pod first before going into Desert Palace, to clear that out. And even then, I would also want to say as well that Signums will have the green pennant in hands, so Sahasrara would take us out of would take out one of the items that's on Pedestal.
True. Of note, Josh Bittner just did take a death warp in the basement. Gonna get that item they missed out on earlier due to those pesky ropes. Gonna get rewarded with a heart container.
Yeah, and with the lamp in hand, along with a lot more hearts and a blue mail, this won't be a problem. Just by proxy, that was a heart container, so might be feeling a little bad, because if it was a required item, then they might have been feeling pretty guilty to not get it because of the ropes causing issues for the runner.
And Signums is getting the pyramid check, but gonna get rewarded, or I don't know how they'll see it, but they're gonna get a book pretty quick. They're gonna be our second restream runner to have that.
Yeah,
third.
and
There's a third. I don't know.
Yeah, that would be the third one. That's the third one. With Sorcerer Finch first, then Extra Gamer, then Signums.
Okay, Sorcerer Finch does pick up a pendant, a little over 55 minutes, from Pod.
Yeah, so
Interesting.
Yeah, I was going to mention something from 5D. So the one thing that he was mentioning is that the myths could lead to, if a myths show up, the the mirror could be left off on Trinex, if that was the case. Because since we know that since we would know that the Fire Rod is required, so the Fire Rod could be on the pedestal, yes. If the Fire Rod's on pedestal, then it could lead to Trinex for the mirror.
Okay, Signums is heading towards Desert with that book. Not going to get much out of the front. We'll see if there will be something on Landmo or not. We'll see.
Yeah. So this will, of course, take Signums over to Desert. But we would know. So we would also now know that since this will be a full clear from Signums, because he has had the boots going into this, while Extra Gamer did not. Josh Bitter will also get the book from Catfish.
Okay, so this will be all of our runners with a book, and everybody with the ability to check Pedestal. But at this point, with so few checks available, you're almost just better going into the dungeons, and if it has an item, if it doesn't, then you get a pendant. We'll see what they elect to do, though.
Yeah. Extra Gamer will take a death warp from the big chest with some bombs. And Josh Bitter will have the book.
And Finch heart piece off of Ether Tab.
Okay, so that's one other check down.
It's looking more and more likely that Pedestal is the play. And we all know who rolled this seed today, so well done.
Me.
That's just what I call a renderer special.
Yep, that's what it's how it's. I mean, it's inevitable considering how much I put much work into these dailies.
Oh, I love it when you roll seeds. They always end up with some sort of twist.
Yeah, it's also that's the nice thing about it. But Yeah, so there's one item that we got out of here from the left side, but Sicknums will be able to finish this out because of the boots. So we know of one other item.
Okay, so 2 more chances from Pendant Desert. You got Landmo, you got Green Pendant. And then I think you start playing those Pendant Dungeons the rest of the way. Looks like Sorcerer Finch is picking up their second right now.
Yeah, and with the fact that we're looking at 3 ways to get ourselves out of this stump with Fire Rod leading to Skull, Mirror leading to Swamp, and Flute leading to a potential clear of Mire. And a couple of other checks alongside it.
Flippers, to answer a question in chat, was on Chest Game in Village of Outcasts.
Correct. And that was necessary for one of the bows from the hobo.
Which it turns out was one of the optional bows. You could also get the one off of Death Mountain as well. It's up to you or both.
Yeah, and everyone has silver, so they're both. No, this Ganon fight won't be a problem for them, along with the Tempered Sword. Yeah, this will not be an issue for any of our runners once we get to it.
Blue Mail, second row of hearts. Yeah, with how the tournament settings are, this will be pretty easy for these runners, I think. And a heart piece off of Landmo.
Yeah, Green Pendants is still pending. So once that Green Pendant has been checked from Zajrala, if this doesn't yield anything, then we know we have to run down the Pendant pod for that pedestal item. And if it's not ped, then we must have missed something that we might be missing something that some other check that we don't know about.
Well, Cygnus has routed this pretty well. They're pretty much able to go over here, turn in Green Pendant if that's nothing, go beat Pod, and pull a Pedestal.
So here's our last possible thing that we can get from before we have to run down the pendants.
Okay, what do we get, Saha?
Mirror.
Okay, that's a hold off on Pedestal for now. Now we got Swamp Palace and K45 and Graveyard Ledge.
Yeah, this deadlock has been broken for now. It's not a pleasant sight to know that you have to get a mirror from here. From Desert Palace, knowing where the book position was.
Oh my gosh, yeah, so many runners have trouble routing in Catfish. I have learned if you're in that area, you check it.
Yeah,
it's so many items.
Yeah, it also depends on what you're thinking about at that given point. It's depending on what you're thinking, there might be a much more tantalizing check that isn't Catfish. Catfish is so out of the way. It is really hard to track. If you're in around the pod area, or you're doing something like an early 5-6 big bomb turn in, then your best bet for checking Catfish. But if you don't have a way to check it, or you found something that's necessary or just hard to go in for it, then that Catfish will be sitting in the back of your mind for a while. And you'll feel really, really bad if you'll feel really, really bad, because if that led to something, then you're gonna be behind.
Ellen, right now, I think Extra Gamer gotta get those boots.
Yeah, there really isn't anything left for Extra Gamer. It's gonna have to hit up the boots.
Okay, but Josh Bittner had a really good Landmo fight, and they're gonna go turn in their Green Pendant, gonna get rewarded with that mirror.
Canis Mario was picked up earlier to correct Mocha Jones in the chat. So it's a Fire Rod flute possible for pet.
And mitts at this point, I think.
And the mitts too. And the mitts. Can't forget about the mitts.
Yeah. Mitts that unlock a whole crud ton for them. Dark Death Mountain and King's Tomb. Wait, King's Tomb's already accessible with that mirror. I forgot.
Yes, the King's Tomb is open. King's Tomb is open through the mirror spot. Yeah, I think Josh had left out Spiral Cave. Yeah, and that one has Samaria. And that is our Samaria location. So Josh Bitter might be in a world of hurt if he does not go back there soon.
Well, it locks them completely out of Turtle Rock when the time comes, and it only locks them out of Vitreous and Mire, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, the best scenario for Josh is if there really isn't anything else left for him, because Samaria by itself doesn't really do a whole lot other than go through Mire, get to Biddy, and also get through Turtle Rock. But it does open up stuff like Icebreaker and the objectively better method of Diver Down uses Samaria. Extra Gamer will get the heart piece off the Bombos tablet, or the Ether tablet rather, not the Bombos tablet. We do have Bombos tablet as a possibility.
We do. At this point, Pedestal's chances just went significantly down, but are still in play until we check that Pedestal with a book at the very least.
Yeah, the only time at this point that Sickdoms will have a look at the Pedestal is if the Fire Rush shows up, and even then, there's only like it's very little that can be shown up there with the bits and the flute, along with the other junk stuff that's there.
I think we could be getting a pet check very quickly. Do you think Sorcerer Finch goes for Green Pendant or right for Ped right after this fight?
I think you chase the Green Pendant here because you will get Mirror. But if Sorcerer Finch is wanting to chase down if Sorcerer Finch does want to chase down the Pedestal, then that's an option, because if Sorcerer Finch gets something from out of the Pedestal, then he's got a significant advantage.
Okay, Sorcerer Finch, where are you going?
He's going to go back into Desert Palace for the other check that he missed out, which was only the 20 rupees off of the big key chest.
That's right.
And Sickdoms will opt to just go through the intended routes. No Diver Down here. It's fine if you're not comfortable with it, or you don't feel like learning it or whatever, or you haven't learned it yet or whatever. It depends. Like it's interesting to see in a world where Diver Down is the norm, the intended route.
It's also dependent on sprite too, so if you're using a new sprite you've never used before, that might change the setup for it, so could be a number of factors why they didn't do it for sure.
Yeah, I know Sickdoms quite well, and Sickdoms has stuck with the Pac-Man sprite the Pac-Man Ghost sprite for a long time, and it might just be a case of it might be a case of Sickdoms might not be familiar with the Diver Down, or maybe just does not want to do it at all. I don't know.
You know, right now, Swamp Palace has had a bug net. That's about it.
Yeah, nothing. It's only like you're going to be there for the crystal and nothing else. Sorcerer Finch does get the mirror, as I would expect, as I had predicted. But Sorcerer Finch will have the ability to look at get a pedestal pull going,
They're probably hoping for a fire rod out of swamp, maybe to be able to mirror from the back of swamp and check Pedestal at the same time.
Oh, there's
Oh.
okay. So pedestal chances have now dropped significantly with those mitts.
They're pretty much on life support at this point, but it is still a thing.
Yeah, and this is a continuation of that knowledge that we have known of, that those mitts were a green pendant lock, which was a book lock from the catfish.
So Extra Gamer does decide to go ahead and beat Hera, so when they're done with Desert, they'll have the option of doing Pedestal as well.
Yeah, and Extra Gamer will also get the Samaria from the Spiral Cave check. Yeah.
Even if this isn't a Ped Seed, it's still strongly pushing towards it. I'd have a hard time seeing somebody not pull it unless they're in go mode.
Correct, yeah. And this is something that is really concerning. Like, it's very, very close to Pedestal. Even if it's not Pedestal, it is honestly the way that you get to the Pedestal and or the other checks, that the other items, that really makes it rough.
Okay, so we're at 110 in the seed, and right now we have 2 crystals for most runners here at this point.
Yeah, with the most recent being Signum's at 3, and Ice Palace will be his 4th.
That's true. They just finished up Swamp. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it might be considering the so-called rule of fire here, which is something I haven't really delved into, as I haven't really got down to a science, because I haven't really looked at it into it myself. So yeah, we are seeing Signums going through here. We'll see if Signums will opt to do an icebreaker here, or we'll also continue the same thing where Signums will opt to just continue with their belief that Ice Palace Bomb Jump will still be still a thing. We'll go and do the icebreaker here. The best way I can just
skipped Josh is doing the vanilla way too for Swamp Palace. Maybe they're not familiar with the bomb setup either. So sorry for the interruption.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, and this is a it might be the bomb setup too, which might be a contributing factor. But Sorcerer Bench will has a Samaria icebreaker. Samaria diver down here. But here is the Signum's attempting to go for the icebreaker. Basically, what he's trying to do is, once he's got the Samaria block in, he's looking to fight to get into the door, because an obstruction like that will cause his door state to extend out past the wall, so that he can get to the opposite side, which is what he did.
So far, not much out of Swamp Palace. Not much out of Ice, not much out of... Well, I guess Swamp had the mitts, but Ice Palace is pretty empty so far. Okay, so Josh needs that Samaria, though. Gosh darn. They're going to get the mitts here, but... if Turtle Rock is needing to be done, they're not going to get that Samaria for a bit.
Yeah, that's one of the big issues that Josh Bittner has been having, because of the lack of the Samaria. We'll have to do these awkward spots, and I guess maybe with the fact that the mitts showing up could possibly push him back up the mountain for that for the Samaria, because you could go into Turtle Rock for as long as you could possibly go until you get into a fire lock.
So Extra Gamer giving us some of those boost checks. I don't know if we saw these from anybody at this point.
We did see from Signums. This would give us that gives us the fire shield, and this was Extra Gamer's last one that we for this boost check. I don't think we took a look at King's Tomb though.
I think we might be getting a ped pull.
Yeah, this is good. This might be a pedestal pull for Extra Gamer. This might be what he may be looking for to keep to get ahead of the pack here.
Well, let's get some ped hype in chat. Let's see if pedestal's a thing.
Yeah, if this is required, then Extra Gamer has catapulted himself ahead of the pack here. If it's not, then we know that the mitts will have to lead to something, and off of the green pendant, no less. So it's actually opting to actually just check the pedestal. Wait, you're supposed to pull it. What are you doing?
What did he read it?
He actually read it. Yeah, he had three tablets. He had three pendants. He actually opted to pull. Instead of pulling it, he actually opted to read it. We know it's couch cash though.
You gotta pull it though. You're there.
Yeah.
Aww.
So, I mean, no offense to Extra Gamer by any means. You've just had to pull it.
All right. Well, pedestal highly implied, but pedestal not required.
Okay.
Maybe we'll get a blind pull from somebody though.
Okay. So. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I don't know, but I guess even these runners are good enough as it is. I guess Extra Gamers might be Extra Gamers' reasoning was that if it was something on the pedestal, then he would pull it right then and there. But.
Well, everyone's kind of doing repeat checks, so probably a good time to remind everybody, give these guys a follow. Signum, Sorcerer Finch, Extra Gamer 1989, Josh Bittner, they're all fantastic runners, doing a great job putting on a show for us, so give them a follow. Also follow my co-com, Professor Renderer, and 5D100, and Aku Haish for the retrack, and of course, from the tracking. Thank you very much.
I will mention this Frozen. It's not because my heart is shared because of the pedestal, the lack of the pedestal pull. It's because it's typically when you're going for the pedestal, if your mind's on the pedestal, you wouldn't read it, you would just pull it. But for Extra Gamer choosing to read it instead of wasting the time to pull the pedestal, yeah, it's a smart move, but you're better. You have the three pendants. You might as well just pull it and take it. Again, no offense to Extra Gamer for the decision. It's a perfectly reasonable move if you're just because if you're right there, you might as well just pull it.
Isn't it against some bylaws or something, right? I mean, you got three pendants, you just got a blind pull, and Signum's giving us the King's Tomb check though. But it's against some bylaws. There's got to be some laws that they broke for reading it and leaving with three pendants. That's another bottle.
So the one thing that might happen, honestly, is since Sorcerer Finch is the closest one to not be the closest one to the pedestal. He might be the one who blind pulls it. Probably might be a little disappointed because it's a pet bait. To answer the question, it is faster to pull it, but if you're this close to the pedestal, you may as well pull it anyway. It's just so that you can at least have a bit of suspense for when you pull it. It's a pet bait, yes.
You do the thing. You just gotta do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a heads up move from Extra Gamer to read it as opposed to pull it.
Okay, so Extra Gamer did pull 2 bottles out of both King's Tomb and out of Graveyard Ledge, now giving us the checks for the blacksmith. So here we go, new checks.
Yeah, so this Smith chain does now lead us a bit, and I will say too that with Josh Bitter and Signum's plays to not leave out the pod, they are saving time from not going that far to defeat blind. Extra Gamer is actually opting to do the classic variation of the Samaria diver down, and gets it.
Done. Don't even know that method myself. I just haven't bothered to learn it because bombs are easy enough, I think. But for anyone that can pull off all the methods of these tricks, good for them.
Now the Samaria strategy with the Samaria strategy with the just on the right side, that the one that's more common is there's our flute.
Oh, okay. Meyer.
So nice. From off the mirror lock. But the one that's often used, you're actually lined up in such a way. It's also worked the same thing for the left side. You're lined up in a way where you're facing a pot. So you can pick up the pot to cancel out your Samaria, your spin. And it's actually also one thing too is with Nobly putting out in the chat, there's a couple ways that you can if you're playing a glitch mode, just to plug my glitch mode community here, there is a way to use that that classic variation is good for if you're glitching using the glitch modes.
Okay, so we have 3 bosses fighting simultaneously: Sorcerer Finch and Josh Bittner in Ice Palace, Extra Gamer in Swamp Palace. Everybody taking down the bosses at about the same time.
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and get a flute activation from Signums.
Fire Rod in Turtle Rock would be quite a thing, indeed. But certainly possible at this point. I think Meyer's probably going to be the next play. Determine if you need Ether and be able to get Meyer Shed and Checkerboard and Meyer out of the way all in one go. Ooh, chat already coming up with some devious way for the seed to continue.
I mean, to be fair, the seed has already gone pretty bad because of the situation that what we were dealt with. We had a required pendant pod which was for the hook shot, which led to those boots, which were necessary for the green pendant's Desert Palace clear for the mirror. It's 2 pendants. 2 pendant dungeons would require this seed. So even if it wasn't Pedestal, those 2 and those spots and leading to that end of the deadlock was quite bad.
And it's just a Quake requirement for Meyer, so Signums is probably going right into Meyer to take care of that.
It's also Quake required for Turtle Rock. It's a double Quake, so all it is just a fire rod away from go mode.
Okay, so at this point, we're probably going to find out where the fire rod is with the checks we have left. It's either probably going to be in Turtle Rock, Hookshot Cave, what else? Super Bunny, and Meyer.
Yeah, there's not really much left here, so So we'll see a Sorcerer Finch heading over to Hookshot Cave for the red meal. Now fully shiny. It looks probably fully shiny. I would assume. That's Slowcane.
Okay, pretty solid Mire 2 from Signums. Nothing out of Hookshot.
Yeah, nothing out of Hookshot. Nothing out of Super Bunny Cave. I was going to comment too that learning Mire 2 is also a fun one to do because it's very technical. It's a very technical room to deal with. That's where execution really shines. If you can execute strongly in Mire 2, you feel good.
Very, very true. They did get a Bloomerang, so that is the first Boomerang of the entire seed. But we got Sorcerer Finch and probably Josh Bittner, maybe going into Turtle Rock. We'll see. Oh, right, Josh doesn't have their cane.
Oh, so I think this. So I get the play here. It's to go to check out the Ether Tablet. Might be heading back to I might be want to head back to no. He's opting to leave out the Samaria in Spiral Cave.
Ooh, not good. I wonder if they forgot that location. I mean, they could have just mentally checked it off in their mind, leaving Death Mountain earlier.
It also may very much be a mismark on the map tracker, and that can happen. And it doesn't feel good to mismark something because if you mismark something, you're looking at the map tracker and you're like, what am I missing? And then it dawns on you, oh no, I skipped that. Yeah, and then you feel like really awful coming out of it.
And the other issue they're going to run into is they're probably going to go check K45, get that flute, go to Mire area, and clear everything they can in Mire 2. And so far in Mire, there's $300.
Yeah, and that's the issue. And Turtle Rock is looking very nice so far. If it's the big key is in its normal position, which is here inside of the lava chest, that fire rod is looking very, very nice.
So
looking very possible.
Mire is empty. It's just got $400 between the two checks. So we're talking. Let's see, what is it? Mire and what's our other 5-6? Was it Eastern?
Eastern.
So maybe Pyramid Fairy. If not here in. Oh yeah, okay. If not in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I think that small key might be that lock. No. There's still one. No, yeah. It's still the lock. Yeah, it's a lock because if the big key was there, then you would get to the back of Escape or the back of Escape. You get to the back of Turtle Rock and you would go get that small key from the front. But since right now the only thing you have is Mimic Cave, that's what you're looking for. If the fire rod's here, then you're in very good shape.
Yeah, big time. I mean, we're an hour and 28 minutes in. A lot of times you'll get those open seas that finish off in 120, 130 pretty easily, and we're still looking for go mode.
Right, and yeah, this is one seed where, yes, it's a ped bait, but it feels so you probably are ignoring that in favor of what the heck is this logic leading to, and it's not in Mimic Cave.
Not in Turtle Rock or Mimic Cave, so Pyramid Fairy it is.
Right. And yeah, yeah, this seed is quite the thing. It is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, Desert was hard required for that green pendant, and Catfish was hard required to get that book to go there. This is, wow. Okay, so pretty much the only pendant dungeon you did not need to go into is Hera. Yeah,
and as to answer something from Mocha, the laser bridge check cannot be accessed because the big key is on the right side, is in the roller room.
Yeah, it's fire locked right now, so it's fire locked by your go mode.
Yeah, and in that case, you're now it's Mimic Cave, and here's Sorcerer Finch about to make the move up to a pedestal without the book in the within the quick swap. So this is a blind ped pull.
Still, yeah, Sorcerer Finch doing the right thing, not using that book, going straight for the ped pull. Well done.
Yeah, and this is one of the things I was mentioning too. Again, Extra Gamer, I have nothing against the decision that he made. It's a reasonable move to make. If you really wanted to pull the pedestal, like to avoid a blind pull, then that's totally fair.
Okay, Signums is checking out that ether tablet, not going to get rewarded with much here.
Like, matter disappointed. I just got confused. I got confused because that's like it's more of a confusion from me because it's like it's kind of like to be normally what you expect is a blind pull at that point, and I was not expecting for a check of the tablet, just checking the pedestal when it was in those three items. That's just me. I never had seen that ever, or at least it's rare that it comes up.
So Signum's electing to check Turtle Rock before going to Pyramid Fairy. So they're going to get that same result, being able to get to Mimic Cave, but that's about it.
Yeah, and it makes sense because like you're in the because it's very much, it's one of those spots where you could totally go here if you're looking for the fire rod and just want to get it out of the way before you leave the mountain or go to GT. But in this case, that's not the thing.
So Josh Bittner checking out what they've missed, and we pretty much know at this point two things. They got to go back to Spiral to get that red cane. They got to go to K45 to get that flute. And that'll pretty much get them on their way.
Yeah, and this is looks like Josh Bender is doing the gamble, or
I think they may have mismarked their tracker, like you had pointed out.
Yeah, I mentioned this before. Like, it's possible that Josh Bender may have mismarked the tracker, and when that happens, you're scrambling to figure out what you've missed. Because if this is if you were mismarking something or whatever, then you're feeling awful because like you're just sitting there trying to figure out what you're missing. Pedestal was only the one thing you were looking at, and it wasn't it. And now you're just sitting here thinking to yourself, what's going on?
So Sorcerer Finch looks like making the right call. Checking these, not going to get much, but is going to be able to pretty much route in K45 when they go south. So they're on the right track. Extra Gamer not far behind them.
Yeah, and this is this will put him towards go -1. And as we know, the Pyramid Fairy will have to be what leads to it, or some proxy for it, that being a mushroom.
Yeah, has to be pretty much something that leads to Fire Rod or Fire Rod itself. So Josh Bittner looks like they're going back to beat the rest of Pod.
You know, it's funny because I keep mentioning that Kingdom Sprites is the Pac-Man ghost. The actual name for it is Clyde, but like because off of the ghost Clyde, the orange one, or Sue if you're playing Miss Pac-Man or whatever. Oh yeah, Pac-Man ghost because Clyde's colors changed from Clyde to Inky to Blinky. There's no Pinky because there's no fourth male.
Oh, Pinky neglected.
Yeah. A cutting ghost did that because a cutting ghost because she just tends to flank Pac-Man to try to get him from the front. If you follow the ghost AI vividly, or if you watch the retro game mechanics explain video. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Sorcerer Finch has the flute.
Okay, they're one step closer. And Extra Gamer about to get their flute too.
Yeah, so now both Sorcerer Finch and Extra Gamer are on that Gomez one. We'll have to go into Mire after this is done. So that they get over to Mire to get the Pyramid Fairy, which is what it has to be. Because it's, as I mentioned, it's either going to be the Fire Rod or a proxy for it.
Well, Signims is about to find out the bad news about Mimic Cave, so we'll see if they go right for the Pyramid Fairy. I don't think they have much of anything else, though.
Yeah, it's either just the Fire Rod or the Mushroom. Like, it's one of those two. That's all it is. So now Signum's knowing that this is not here inside of Mimic Cave, is gonna have to go and mirror out.
I think they forgot they don't have the big key.
Yeah, they're looking at the map right now. Yeah, and they probably must have thought that this was a small key door and not a big key door. So yeah, that's fair. Sometimes that does you get those two confused.
Okay, Sorcerer Finch going into the Mire area, one step closer to Pyramid Fairy, and Extra Gamer activating their flutes. Josh Bittner gonna get the bad news about what is that? Helmasaur King.
Yeah, at this point, Josh Bittner will have to look at the map checker and see like what he missed. Something tells me that he may have counted out, may have just marked off Spiral Cave during the whole situation and may have not realized it until now.
And here's the play from Signims for Pyramid Fairy. Unless we're missing something ourselves, this has got to have our progression or something that leads to it, just like Renderer said.
Yeah, and this is the pause that Josh Bender. This is the pausing from Josh Bender, just looking. What exactly was he missing?
I hate that feeling.
Yeah, that feeling that you are clearly missing something, but you don't know what it is. He may have figured it out though. He saves and quits.
Death Mountain Cave, please.
It's not. It's not that. It's gonna be to Link's house.
Okay, here comes the moment of truth from Signims. Did we all goof and just miss some sort of check, or is this it?
Yeah, there it is.
You ever heard go mode?
Yep, 1:37:24 is the go mode time.
Holy moly. Okay, so at this point, Signims has to go to Skullwoods, clean that up, go to Turtle Rock, finish that, and go over to Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, this is one interesting scene that as you mentioned, this is one interesting scene. It's one twist that it is definitely one of those twists that my scenes are known for. The fact that you have to go to, for one thing, you have to do for one thing, you have to go to Catfish for it was for the book, which subsequently led to the mirror or the boots. It was the mirror of the boots. What was the two? But you need to get the mirror, which led to the boots. Well, so actually, let me take it back. So you needed to get the boots from, I believe, the hookshot from Pod, which led to the boots in Paradox Cave. But then you also had to get Catfish for the book, which, given where Desert Palace was, it was a hard-locked, it was a boots-locked Desert Palace, green pendant Desert Palace. And then you needed to take the green pendant up to Sahas Roller for the mirror, which then unlocked everything else.
Alright, Mitts in the back from Argus and Skull Woods, and Mitts led to being able to get to the Mire area to get your second red crystal to be able to get your Fire Rod.
Yeah, and yeah, this seed is definitely a toughie, a tricky one. Yeah, and Chushbitter is now again scrambling to figure out what he had missed out. Still not on the right path for that Samaria.
Okay, Signum's fighting Moth. Taking our time, well done, and a quick fight. Good Moth fight from Signums.
Yeah, just 6 crystal for Signums. We'll now have to go back into Turtle Rock to get back over to get Trinex and then finish this out. There's no way you save a mirror portal here, because you have to go to Skull Woods anyway.
That pretty much sums it up, chat.
Yeah,
pretty much a hard pet bait.
But in a way that it's a pet bait that could be avoided if you bailed out a pod early. And to answer your question to chat, the Fire Rod was on Pyramid Fairy after having to clear Mire out after the flute was acquired from Mirror. Yeah, this is definitely one seed that is. I mentioned it already. I sound like a broken record, but it is a toughie. It's a tricky one. High times are afoot, I would reckon. Probably might finish around the 150 to 2 hour range, around that period. All right, Signum's now heading back into Thieves Town for the second time, while Extra Gamer knocks on Viddy. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Sorcerer Finch will get the Mire, will get the Mire crystal, which will be necessary for the Fire Rod. Extra Gamer is close by. Extra Gamer will be close by, floating away to presumably get the turn in. Yes, that will be the case. And your big key will be on the roller room on the right chest. And with this being a God Mire, it feels a little bit bad too, because you have no other way of you're not even in go mode and you get a God Mire, which is like, ugh, hate that feeling.
Right? You have to get both items out of there. Fortunately for the runners, they did not have to do cutscene chest. I believe both the checks were pretty readily available. Okay, so Sorcerer Finch gets their second item out of Mire and abandons ship. They just got to go to Pyramid Fairy. And Extra Gamer already on the right path here, about to get their go mode, just a few minutes after Signum's.
Oh, Boko the Chocobo, you can do it. Yeah, and
Oh, Josh Bittner thinking about that thing again.
Yeah, still looking around. Meyer wasn't the answer. It wasn't a vanilla cane. It is somewhere that he may be missing out. And again, it feels really, really bad knowing what you don't know what you've missed. And now you're sitting here again, looking at your map tracker, trying to figure out what exactly did you skip.
And you gotta think, if Spiral Cave was something that they didn't accidentally mark, they would have checked it when they were up there a little bit ago. So I don't know what they're going to do at this point. We'll see.
Yeah, you're looking at that map tracker, whether it be an emo tracker or Big Dunkus tracker or whatever tracker that you're using, and you're just looking at what you've checked out on your map tracker, and you're just like, what am I missing? It's a feeling that has happened to many a runner, and it happens to me as well. No one sometimes those mental lapses can happen, and it always feels horrible when it happens, and you're just sitting here thinking, what have you missed?
Exactly. Happens to me. In fact, Spiral Cave's gotten me more than 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Spiral Cave, Sick Kid are easy to miss locations that you just mark off in your head.
Yeah, and it's rough. And I've had that happen too. Spiral Cave was an issue, and sometimes for me, the front the cannonball room of Easter. I can remember one has happened. I remember one time. It was the it was last year's Cross Keys tournament. I had autopiloted through Eastern, did not check cannonball room, and I was going through my seed, trying to figure out where this Eastern Palace big key was. And it turns out that Eastern Palace big key was in the cannonball room. And I felt so bad about it.
Okay, I think we gotta play a quick game here, Renderer. What do you think?
Yep. There's a total of 22 possible locations, which amounts to a simple 22-1 chess and an extra torch. Simple math. One of them will have the big key, so if you guys want to put a number between 1 to 22 in the chat, and if you get the number exactly, or you're the first person closest to the number, then cool, good on you. And it looks like Josh Bittner may have figured it out.
Thank goodness. Okay, go Josh, go. And the guessing game closes when Signums enters GT. So about another 10, 15 seconds to get your guesses in.
Josh Bittner ends up getting dead rocked.
And closed.
Okay. Yeah, so we'll see what Signums goes to. First, the Hope Room. Yeah, that makes sense. It's one of the first things you tend to do here. Number 1 is a small key. Number 2 is another small key. We're going to go. Signums going to go to the right side. Looking at the fact that there's no half match, it kind of reminds me of what happened with with my casual boots ladder race that happened on 7 hours ago, where I had so much trouble with the right side that from the first thing was I got grabbed by the Ballmaster. Then I ran out of magic in this room with the Stalfos, and I didn't have any bottles going in. I didn't have any blue potions going in, and and then if this is the big key, I'm gonna be laughing.
Oh,
amazing!
Good job. All right, good choice.
Number 3 was the answer. I say it, and I up to just it rears its ugly head. And the closest one to it, since there wasn't a 3, the closest one to it, the first one who was close to us was TJ Maelstrom with 4. So good on you.
Okay, Josh, still in the right vicinity, just not quite the area we want them to be in.
Yeah, it's going to the Hera, which yeah, it's on the mountain. It's not the one you're looking for. But Signums will start the climb. Yeah, basically flying colors. The funny thing was that this the big key spot, the big key in that in the compass room wasn't number 3. It was actually around, would have been number 5 if I actually got it.
So Josh, I should say, Extra Gamer and Sorcerer Finch going into GT, or not GT, pardon me, TR, probably 30 seconds apart. That's a pretty close race between them as well. Yeah,
this is a surprisingly close one between those two.
And of note, Extra Gamer, though, able to single dip the dungeon. Sorcerer Finch did go all the way to Mimic Cave, so they'll be a little bit faster going all the way to the end.
Yeah, that does play a factor. If you had double dipped the dungeon, yeah, it doesn't feel good to double dip a dungeon. But if it's something like Turtle Rock, you do save a bit of time from the amount of keys you opened up and the amount of doors you opened up. So, yeah, that's a factor that can be brought up here. Yeah, so according to Nobly, it's about a minute's worth.
And a good Landmo 2 fight from Signums.
And once again, Josh Bentner is looking at that map tracker, trying to figure out exactly what had happened.
Either a map tracker or maybe going over a mental checklist if they don't use a map tracker. Hard to say.
Yeah, from what I can tell from pulling up Josh Bender's stream, he does have broadcast view, so it is Emo tracker. So if it's on the setting where it is a map tracker rather than a it's just an item tracker, he would be looking at that map right now and figuring out what's going on. He mirrors out.
Are they going to go east?
He's looking.
Don't do it. Get your hammer.
Yeah, he's looking at it and just thinking, what is there even to do? Is the hammer is one slot over to the left. If Josh Bender figures it out, then it would feel really, really horrible for him to note that, because he had left it out in such a bad situation. So I'm not going to bother with Boulder too, because you're already loaded up. You're fine. Like, you're good. You're good. You have red mail, you have silvers, you have tempered sword. You're in a good spot. You also have you have 2 blue potions too. So you're comfy. And 17 hearts. Yeah, you're comfy. And Josh Bitter's just looking. It's just debating what's going on. He's still looking at that menu, just looking at that map. Ugh.
And Signum's having a little bit of an issue with Aga 2.
Yeah, Aga 2 patterns could either be really good or really, really bad. And this looks like it's these patterns are not doing so well. It's even got to the point where one of the Aga clones had desynced from the 2.
There we go. Alright, chat, what'd we do? I was not able to keep track myself.
I didn't really keep notes too, but it looked like it was like mostly just ones, and a couple of misses. But yeah, I think that there really wasn't the best way you could really to deal with those active patterns, because those patterns were not really that kind.
And Sorcerer Finch getting their try an X fight on here, and Signum's getting into that Ganon fight.
Yeah, this will be a pretty easy fight for an easy Ganon fight for with like 2 blue potions and with like and a really nice spot too for Ganon. Yeah, you're in like a good shape. You can just do a couple spins, and you're also not really too worried about the damage as well.
Yep, 2 hearts at red mail, not really too concerned about that.
Yeah, so here we go. Phase 4 for Signums, and yeah, as I was thinking, it'd be around like the around like the 150. Oh, ow!
Oh, fall. And we unfortunately did get a forfeit from Josh Bittner.
Yeah, it doesn't feel all that good to figure what your problem, what you were missing, and you just had ran out of ideas. It's rough. I will say about the Signums fall. It looked like Signums was just happened to be right. Looked like Signums was right on top of Ganon, so he got knocked back into the pit. So now, because Signums had taken a fall here or a death, the pattern is going to be different for Signums. It could be better or it could be worse. Who knows? Because for each fight on either Ganon or Aga or any of the Agas, it's seeded. Every other fight from going forward is random.
Okay, and Sorcerer Finch making the right call, going to the right side of GT, and Extra Gamer going into their Trinex fight. Signum's wrapping up Ganon. Uh-oh.
Oh.
Do we have a fairy?
I don't know. We did have a fairy. Good. All right. Yeah, this Ganon fight is definitely. I think the seed has probably taken its toll on Signums, and probably wants this to be over with, and having a fall happen along with everything else leading up to it.
Well, looks like Josh got confirmation on that location.
Yeah, so now Josh Bitter is heading over to where the Samaria was after forfeit. Again, it doesn't feel good to know exactly what happened. Yeah, so there's here's the just looking at the chest.
Okay, get your GGs in chat. Signums does finish up the seed. And got official racetime.gg time of 1:57:47.
Yeah, and that is good for 5th place overall. Yeah, the top time was High Ruler at 1:49:35, and then James after the next was about a few seconds later at 1:49:48. Josh finished at 1:51:10, and Frenzy at 4th, 1:55:27.
Okay, now we have Signums joining us in chat. GG to you.
Yeah, this one.
That was an interesting seed.
It was interesting, yeah. So the logic for that one was you had to do two paradigms. First of all, the one was said you have to get the it was the hook shot from Pen and Pod, and then subsequently you then had to go head up to what was it? You had to go.
There's Mitts, wasn't it, on the in desert?
Yeah, and not
Or was
desert.
or was that on Swamp?
Green
Those are
Pendant.
hard.
The bear was at desert. Green Pendant turn in.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then the boots. If I remember this right,
East Death Mountain, I think.
East Death Mountain, yeah, which was part of that necessary thing because you had to go hit hookshot, get the hookshot, then go run up to East Death Mountain for the boots, which was necessary for the Desert Palace for the mirror, and then everything else opened itself up. But then the more important thing was Catfish had the book. So
that was a mess. I checked darn near everything.
Everybody was in the
I
same
checked
boat.
every overworld check except for the mushroom and the pedestal.
yeah.
So that was a bit of a runaround.
Yeah, the big thing was that the big issue was that it was those two spots are kind of sequestered off because Catfish is so out of the way and it's really hard to route in. The only way you would have to route that in is if you let Pod.
Now if I had gone to Cave 45 after Pod or after a swamp instead of just doing the Bombos and then running into ice, that probably would have saved me a little bit of time.
Yeah,
But I couldn't really justify taking the time to check both of those right away.
right. Yeah, so it was a weird scene in and of itself. It was hard to really it was kind of a weird way to route. It was a lot of these spots were like sequestered, like all like over the shop. There wasn't really a clear like path through. But you did avoid a ped bait, not by leaving Pod early.
After I was looking around for that loot and the fire rod, I was like, "Oh man, it's probably on Helmosaur, isn't it?"
Yeah.
or the pedestal. It's like I could see fire rod on pedestal being go mode. That would suck, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you avoided a ped bait pretty strongly because the interesting thing was that Extra Gamer actually came up to the pedestal with the 3 pendants and opted to check it, which threw me off because I was not expecting a read from the pedestal rather than a turn-in.
Yeah, that's very disappointing to all the fans watching. If you've got all 3 of them, you might as well just pull it.
Yeah, it didn't disappoint me, but it more so confused me because I was not expecting that to happen.
You go up there, blind, 3 pendants, you gotta pull it. You don't read it.
Yeah, it was something that interested me because normally that doesn't happen. But again, no offense to Extra Gamer by any means.
Oh no. And Extra Gamer did elect to go ahead and go left side GT, so it did find Ether and I think a mushroom as well.
Yeah, that's too bad. Ether's probably the most useful of the medallions, at least for me.
It's fast. It is a fast medallion. It's the fastest of the 3. It's Ether the fastest. Quake is like in the middle, and Bombos is the slowest.
Okay,
Yeah, and then also it looked like it also, and then I think it was on that Ganon fight. Were you feeling a little bit of the burn of after that fall, just because it was, you're kind of thinking, oh, this was going on for too long, and I don't want to like keep. I don't want this was.
Yeah, that felt like a dumb fall on my part. I shouldn't have tried to run over there and grab the torch glitch when he was sitting right on top of it.
Yeah, that's. I feel like if it being like this late in the seeds, that can't happen.
Okay, and with that, we do also welcome Josh Bittner into into the room here. GG to you.
Thank you. Hello. Yes, I am dumb as rocks.
Yeah, that's the thing. It feels really, really bad to mismark something. Was it a mismark or?
No, the time that I had it in my mind to do it was when I went to Hera in the first place. And then after beating Hera, the idea would have been then to finish the play at Spiral like a normal person, but today I was not a normal person, so here we are.
It can't happen, and it was
after that it was just completely out of my head. Like there was no concept of Spiral Cave existing. That just gets mentally checked off with the rest of Paradox and Hera, on that first climb up. And then that was when I should have had Kane all that time, and well, I did not have it.
Yeah. I will say though, just to interject for a second, we did have Sorcerer finish out the seed with an official race time of 2:04:32, which stood up for 8th overall, and we had Arya Stark 29:42 at 6th of 1:59:15, and LT Gray at 7th of 2:03:19, and Finch is here with us to talk us through what has been quite a fascinating seed, I would say.
Yeah, GG, y'all. I hope at least everyone enjoyed the ped pool. I hope the blind ped pool.
Yeah, it was interesting because Extra Gamer got to actually check the pedestal with the book when 3 pennants were already obtained, which surprised me because normally you'd blind pull it, not just check it.
Yeah, but that was an interesting seed. I'm now curious where that 4th sword is. The Extra Gamer seems to have found. It has to be GT at this point, right?
Left side, I think. Yeah.
It may have been, yeah. It may have been the left side, but
yeah.
Because Half Magic was also there too.
Half Magic was Turtle Rock Big Chest.
Oh, the Big Chest is Turtle Rock. Okay, never mind. Okay, so
that's all good.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, it was like, so the whole logic behind it was you had to go to Pod to get the hook shot, but then you also had to go up to Catfish to get the book, and those are 2 sequester checks too, so they're not like they're not part of a linear line. And then you had to take that hook shot that you just picked up, go all the way up to East Up Mountain for the boots, which you then needed for Desert Palace, the turn-in for the Desert Palace, because you had to use that book on the front of the desert. You can't go in the back because the flute being K45, and then your mirror was off of the desert, off of the graveyard to turn in, and then everything else opened it up from there.
Right. It was it was interesting. It was I almost want to rerun this just kind of with some foreknowledge, like, okay, if I don't do almost all dungeons, how's that work? But yeah, I mean, aside from some of the routing decisions and some of the execution, we won't talk about blind that first time. It's like I saw I was about to run out of magic, and that split second of, oh no, this is not going to work. And then everything just happens.
I was quick to point that out because like with running out of magic with a cape, it's like, okay, this is awkward. I am in a situation where I'm gonna die now, and that's what happens.
Right, and that's kind of what I did. It's like I figured, okay, blind's gonna stay there. Let me come back. Like let me come back when I have more than 5 hearts at that time. I forget. Like I was not very healthy. So let me just come back when I get some magic refill, and then the bow turned up. So it's like, okay, I can go do Eastern. Line it, yeah, on Hobo, right? So yeah, some of the item locations were pretty interesting. And again, Pendant Pod has something.
Yeah, it that's why I've been starting to kind of fall into the camp of belief in Pendant and belief in Pod. As of late, with considering that, maybe Pod has something. It's got quite a number of things. It's the second best Dark World, second dense Dark World dungeon that's not GT.
Yeah, that was but yeah, overall it was an interesting one.
It's just hard to rat a seed like this that gives you very early pedestal access, and when you're late getting to the book, for instance, then you're like, oh crap. That could really throw off routing for sure.
Yeah, it's a seed that it makes you think. It makes you think what you needed to do. And with a first place finish being 149.35. Yeah, you got quite an interesting seed that almost rivals what we've seen with the qualifiers. A lot of these like intricate, like annoying seeds where the logic is all over the place.
Yeah, but if we could take let's pretend this is a qualifier then, because I'd actually have a good score for once.
It'd be funny because it would actually make, if this was a qualifier, I would have actually had a better. That would actually make my third qualifier that I did my drop, because if I beat out some good players in that one, I would have had a better drop. Because I think my estimator said my last one was a 62, and I'm like, yeah, this is definitely my drop, because first place times being like 115. That's like, and mine was like 145. Yeah, that's clearly a drop. Like it's a whole half-hour difference, right?
I have an 8.5 sitting on my record, right?
Oh no!
I was an hour behind par. That first qualifier. But I'm also, like, for the tournament, it's also, honestly, I know I'm not making it, but I'm still having fun, and I'm getting better, so that's what matters, right?
For what it's worth, I myself I'm not expecting to make it to the big dance, but if I do make it to the big dance, it would surprise me, because I would be doing better than what I've done in years.
Okay, everybody get your GGs in chat for Extra Gamers. Sorry for the quick interruption.
Yeah, it's fine. We'll be finishing out our runners here with an official race time, the GG time of 2:12:57, and would be good for 11th overall, with Barrett 777 at 9th with 2:05:39, and Shindig Pig 10th, which was 4 seconds apart from Extra Gamer at 2:12:53.
Oh, and then Animus United just 7 seconds behind Extra Gamer. Like, it was it looked like there were a lot of clusters, like, when folks were finishing.
Yeah, this seed was definitely one that led you to think pretty heavily. And yeah, and Extra Gamer is already going. It's actually holding down that X button to speed up the the epilogue and credits, this is one seed that definitely feels like you want to hold that down.
Oh yeah, and that. Oh geez, and that's actually reminding me. I'm also not gonna. I will not be entertaining questions about my my mountain, like from Hera. What I do from Hera to Spiral Cave back over to do Spike Cave. Like was a. I know it was a little. It was a little odd. I wasn't thinking like, okay, let me go ahead and do that, and then. Yeah, that was some weird routing, but it worked out.
Yeah. It was quite the interesting seed. It wasn't a fun one, but we got through it. We can now at least probably put this in the back of our minds for once.
Seed? What seed?
Yeah.
Right.
So,
But yeah.
we now are joined by Extra Gamer, GG.
GG.
GG. I apologize
GG.
ahead of time. If there's background noise, I'll try and keep it to a minimum.
That's fine. I did one. The first thing I wanted to ask was, which it surprised me. What was the reasoning behind the check at the pedestal when you had three pendants?
I'm not sure. I just wanted to confirm it, I guess.
Oh, yeah. It surprised me because normally what happen when you had three pendants, you would go ahead and blind pull it. You would blind pull it. But reading the tablet at the pedestal tablet at that point, it's faster, yes, but it's not common. It surprised me. That's not like. No, nothing against you by any means. I just wasn't expecting that.
No, I understand. It's one of those things where it's just like, I wonder if this is my progression, and then it wasn't my progression. But I wanted to just check it just to see what it says.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Yeah. I don't know what else to. I don't remember what to say what we said already. This seed was definitely one of those ones where it was the way forward was very sequestered and like all over the shop.
Yeah, we definitely ran around a good amount. It felt like, and there weren't really any. Like it felt like every check that you had was like, okay, it's either in the like northwest, the complete southwest, northeast. Like it definitely felt pretty scattered. But hey, Ganon went down.
I know it's a nice change of pace from the tourney seeds we've been playing lately.
Oh,
Yeah.
it was great getting armor.
Yeah, yeah, sure. It may have still been like something that was like, hey, this definitely it's one of those seeds where it would have rivals like one of the main tournaments of how complex the seed was. But yeah, it for this to be like in an open environment, then yeah, that is something.
Well, and that's why I was going through like Turtle Rock, even though I didn't have the fire rod, because I've seen before where like there's going to be like the fire rod kind of keeping on, and let's just go ahead and follow it until I can't go no more.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping the fire rod was on the laser bridge. I ran as far as I could, but it locked us out from going on without the big key.
Right, but it did also feel like, okay, if there's something important, like, because I think I was also missing the flute at the time. If there's something on like Mimic Cave, there is no way in heck like it's gonna be a while till I try to go back to here as a last location. So let's close to mid to last location Mimic Cave for there.
Yeah, my heart skipped a beat when I went to go check that fire rod in Pyramid Fairy, or check Pyramid Fairy and saw the fire rod. I was like, oh, thank goodness, because I skipped all of Left Side Swamp. I skipped almost all of Misery Mire.
You missed like a big key that led to Red 20.
Well, thank goodness for that.
Right. I mean, yeah, 20 rupees for Go Mode.
Okay, so we're gonna have to cut this short here. So, final thoughts for those still in the booth with us.
Thank you. I hope it was entertaining to everyone. Thank you for featuring us, and thank you for commentating Lana Bean Renderer. Tracking I see was Akuhaish and 5D100. Much appreciated, y'all, for commentating and tracking and all that jazz. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yep, just want to say thanks. Hope you all were entertained, and I guess we'll see you all next time or something like that.
Sounds great. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah. So before we leave out, though, I should also want to go over the schedule for us. So for the rest of the night, we have the Bleed 2 Beginners Tournament happening right now on Speed Gaming 2, and the same time as well, the Super Mario Odyssey Bingo Tournament is going on on Speed Gaming Prime. Then after that is done, to close out the nights, we do have Super Mario Bros. 3 80% Warpless on the same channel on Speed Gaming Prime. And going into tomorrow, as it currently stands, we have a daily race on 2 p.m. It will be all dungeons with starting boots for our next daily. But after that, at 8:10 is our next qualifier. The next qualifier for the main tournament on 2022. The race will start at 8 and the broadcast will start at 8:10. Signups will close at 7:50 Eastern, to be more precise. These will be all times are in Eastern, so your mileage may vary depending on your time zone. But at 9 p.m. Eastern will also be the depending on the amount of people that is in the qualifier, the SMC3 weekly it'll be a hard mode setting, and it will also be, and then to round that out, another Super Mario Bros. 3 80% Warpless tournament matchup. So yeah, if you want to watch those, follow the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming 2 through 6. Multi-legal channels are also there as well. Shoutouts to Lana Bean for keeping me comfy. I'll just spot off of a chat and my Twitch channel. And thank you to Akuhaish and 5D100 as well as Pro Peace for handling the restream side. So with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good rest of your day wherever you are. So take it easy.
Take care, everybody.